Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be tackling a big subject for lots of people, sugar flowers. And the queen of the flowers, the most commonly used flowers in most things is roses. Now you can get 1,000,001 cutters in the market, which is good if you like that sort of thing and if you've got lots of time, because some of them say do this stage, then wait 2 days, do this and that. No, I don't have lots of time, and I assume you don't either. So I'm going to show you how to make a rose super quick. And I mean, if you get really quick, you can make a rose in about, I don't know, 20 seconds using freezer bags. You need one more piece of equipment, which is your scissors. That's about it. So I've got here some regular sugar paste, which you can get in a supermarket or wherever you normally get your sugar craft supplies from. And I've also got florist paste. If you are in a country where you cannot get florist paste easily, just use a bit of gum trag powder. I'm sure you can get those around, and just put that in your sugar paste, knead it and let it sit for about 15 minutes before you start using it. Just use a little bit of it. I'd say about ratio 1 to 5 is the minimum you should really put in, and also depending on how tough you want it to be. If you want it to be a little bit firmer, you can go all the way up to 1 to 1, but at that stage it starts to get quite stiff and a bit tricky for your wrists. So I'm just going to use 1 to 5, because also the florist paste is a bit more expensive really than sugar paste. So you mix that in. Mix it in really well, knead it. I tend to do this with a bit of coconut oil on the side that you can rub on your hands to stop it sticking to your hands, and also a little bit on the table to stop it sticking to the table. If you've got one of those non-stick tables, then you're fine, you don't need to do that. So you mix it in. Lovely, that's nice and uniform. So you mix it till you can't see any cracks, and then you start to segment out into marbles. If you're making, say, a rosebud, you only need 4. If you're making the next size up, then you need 4 and 5 more. This will all make sense. I talk about this a little bit in my book, so if you have come to this link from reading the book, this is all going to make a lot of sense. So you now want to roll these to a smooth, again, you're sort of rolling it so that you can't see any cracks in it, into a smooth ball. It takes a lot of practice, but eventually you'll be able to roll 2 at a time. If not, just roll them 1 by 1, that's fine. And when you put them, don't pop them close together like that. Just give them some space, about 1 inch either side. Pop your freezer bag on top of it, press down with your palm. And as you're pressing down with your palm, let the 2 sides of the freezer bag slide on top of each other. And you're flattening only one side of the bowl, not both sides. So this is what you should get to. So this side is lovely and thin, and this side is quite fat and chunky, that's okay. Now, to do your rosebud, if you were making like a cupcake and you wanted to pop this on top of it, you roll this in tightly. Yep, and then where that finishes, you pop this one onto the middle, keeping it about the same height, and you need to roll your fingers like that. You start to roll it in, and then about halfway through you pop the next one and you roll it in, and then you can close it. If you were making a rosebud, you could stop here. To make it look more lifelike, with your thumb you can just press back a little bit like that and like that and like that, and then you pinch it in there, and using your scissors you cut, and that's done. I'm going to do one more now for the medium size one. So remember, we used 1 in the middle, 1, 2, 3 outside to close the rosebud. For a medium size rose, same process again, but you carry on. So 1 in the middle like this, roll it really tight. Next petal there. And always start the next petal from the middle of the previous one. We're going to add 5 more, so it goes 1, 3, 5, and the next size up, you've guessed it, 7. So at this point, you open up the ones that are going to be inside. There you go. And then same thing again, you close the last one off. The petals open up a little bit more, and that looks quite pretty. And then again, you snip off at the bottom, and that's a medium-sized rose. Rosebud is 1 in the middle and 3. Medium is 1 in the middle, 3, then 5. Large is 1, 3, 5, 7. And then the ginormous one is 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. I mean, you could go on and on. So I'm going to do these super quick. So same again, pop it on, slide the freezer bag side to side on itself, but only on one side of the ball. You do not want to flatten the whole ball. It will go floppy and you will not be able to use it. Starting from the middle, roll it really, really tight. Next one, where the joint is. And because I'm going to go quite big, I'm just folding over each one as I finish. I'm just going to keep going until I've used up all these petals here. As you can see, I'm using the thin end towards the top because we're trying to give it that delicate look that a rose petal has, and all the fat chunky bits are at the bottom, which it should be because it makes it easier to handle. And you carry on going, we're nearly done. And then the very last one, and you pop that in there. Now, at the point where a rose has got to this size, it would typically have like some bent back leaves, petals even, because that's when it's in completely full bloom, just before it dies. They always say a rose is prettiest just before it dies. So if you pinch it open like that, you can bend these back a little bit more. And there you go, there you have it. Those are 3 different sizes of roses like you'd find on any birthday or wedding cake. I'll colour this really quickly with some green. Some would say doing this video where you're going to colour anything wearing white was a bit foolhardy, but hey, live a little. So mix that into green a little bit quickly. You can actually stop mixing at this point because it looks quite pretty, being a little bit mottled, a bit marbled. Or you can mix it uniform. It's entirely up to you and what you're trying to achieve. I'm just going to grab a tiny little rolling pin. If you do not have a rolling pin where you are, a really smooth side of a bottle, a firm bottle, would do the same trick. I'll show you first how to do normal leaves using the normal cutters, and then I will also show you how to do them with other shapes that you might just happen to have at home. You want to get this nice and thin as you dare, really. With these, you depress, wiggle it about to make sure it's cut away cleanly, and then that's it. When you pick it up, I mean, you could leave it like that, but I always feel like that's a bit like cake decorating 101. You could also just pinch together the bottom. And if you wanted to make it look a little bit more lifelike, dry it on something like this so that it doesn't dry completely flat and two-dimensional. And you can use anything, like sometimes I dry them hanging over the tip like that so that it dries in a shape. Now, what I wanted to show you, because when I first started out, I didn't have a lot of tools, and somebody really wanted something with leaves and I didn't know what to use. I discovered that if you use a heart-shaped cutter, like this, cut it out same way, use a cocktail stick and just mark a bit like that, like so. Doesn't have to be perfect. Pinch it together like that and dry it. You can get away with using that as a rose leaf. And there you have it. Those are really, really simple roses that you can knock up and use in, in decorating a cake if you haven't got lots and lots of time to do things in several stages. I really hope you found that useful, and I hope it gives you the confidence to attempt making sugar flowers again, because I know lots of people try it and get a little bit demotivated and just lose their confidence. So give it a go, and if you don't get it right the first time, keep practicing and you will get it right. I'm sure you will. Thank you for watching, and see you next week.